Vanakkam, Prem Namaste and divine greetings. Thank you for choosing your ultimate Hindu experience right here on 3, Sadhana, the Inward Path. We have a very interesting lineup for you today. Firstly, we join India in celebrating 125 years since the making of the Mahatma in Pietermaritzburg. And then we visit the Nelspruit Shiva Lingam, believed to be worshipped by Hindus in this country more than 1,800 years ago. Wow, now that's something. Coming up later in the program, we continue with Yoga for Wellness and the Ramayan, a blueprint for daily living. On the 7th of June, 1893, a young Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was kicked off a train in Pietermaritzburg for sitting in a first-class compartment. In those few moments, this incident changed the course of world history, affecting India, America, and our own country too. This marked the birth of Satyagraha, a strategy of non-violent resistance. The Indian government commemorated the 125th anniversary of this milestone event with a nostalgic reenactment of the incident in Pietermaritzburg. And Sadhana was present when India's Foreign Minister, the Honourable Mrs. Sushma Swaraj, unveiled a unique two-sided bust to honour the transformation from man to Mahatma, a fitting tribute to Gandhi.
The city of Pietermaritzburg is synonymous with historic events that changed the course of world history. It was in 1893, at the Pietermaritzburg railway station, that a young Mohandas Gandhi collided head-on with racism. This single incident transformed his life from that of a lawyer to a freedom fighter, from an ordinary mortal to a Mahatma, and was a seed that would inspire a global revolution of non-violent change.
125 years ago, 24-year-old young Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi arrived from India via ship to Durban. His assignment was to assist a merchant company of Indian origin, Dada Abdullah, in a legal case. A few days later, he was asked to go to Pretoria to represent his client. Young Gandhi was given a first-class ticket and put on a train to Pretoria.
But I have a ticket.
We've been following Gandhi's philosophy, honesty, truth and unity, and we've been following that all the time, and myself being part of the apartheid era, and I also experienced all these experiences where I couldn't get to a bus. There was only one seat available and could not otherwise get off and get for the next bus and so forth, and we couldn't live anywhere we like. We were removed from Lenasia to Johannesburg to Lenasia, which was very inconvenient. But you see, all that experience, plus now this incident here, so that instigated a lot of courage into me that I must continue.
The Indian Foreign Minister, Mrs. Sushma Swaraj, began the 125th anniversary observance with a wreath-laying ceremony, then gifted South Africa with an iconic two-sided bust that captured the transformation from man to Mahatma. She also inaugurated a modern digital museum, a tool of enlightenment, in the very waiting room in which Gandhi was held.
An humbling moment today. I think what we've witnessed here today, although this incident took place 125 years ago, I think it's more prevalent in terms of the South African state, in terms of racism, etc., today more than before. And of course, Satyagraha was founded right at the spot where I'm standing right here today. So the philosophies under Gandhi principles, Gandhi teachings around non-violence, around peace, etc., is of course of importance, and it stands dear to my heart and to the philosophies that I live by.
It was a very nostalgic moment watching the young man being thrown off the train. It made me think, of course, of the hardship that Gandhiji felt when he was thrown off the train. And I think that when you watch a movie, it's different from seeing somebody really thrown off the train. And today we saw a live enactment of it, and it really had a lump in my throat at that time. But it's also a turning point for us in this country, because if Gandhi didn't stop to think, should he fight the injustices, and he just went on to become a successful barrister, the course of history would have changed. He might not have led India to freedom. And so that is a real turning, pivotal point in the history of Gandhi's life, which also affected South Africa, because he started his philosophy of satyagraha over here and then went on to use it in India to free India. So it's a very pivotal point, and 125 years later, the Gandhi Memorial Committee chose to commemorate this occasion with this kind of enactment. And I commend them for it, because I think it highlights the fact that Gandhi still has a relevant role to play in our country.
Mahatma Gandhi not only liberated India, but also gave hope to millions of others under colonial rule around the world. His thoughts and ideas inspired scores of movements for freedom, dignity, and equal rights. What went through the Mahatma's mind as he spent the night in the waiting room is not really known to us. But we do know that it led to the evolution of a force not seen before in any political movement. It led to the force of satyagraha, the force of non-violence, of truth, and of peace. The greatest son of South Africa, Nelson Mandela, and the greatest champion of civil rights, Dr. Martin Luther King, among many others around the world, built upon the foundation laid by Mahatma Gandhi to empower their people and ignite change.
The events of the anniversary highlighted the relevance of Gandhi's philosophy of satyagraha and his contribution towards a more equal society in both India and South Africa. In her message, the Foreign Minister wrote, "As we commemorate the 125th anniversary of the birth of satyagraha, I pay my respects to that great soul who transformed the course of modern history. It was from Pietermaritzburg that Gandhiji dedicated his life to the fight against injustice, discrimination, and oppression through the most powerful weapon that mankind has known, satyagraha. My gratitude goes to the government and people of South Africa for keeping the Mahatma's legacy alive in this place of immense historical significance."
There is something in the soil of Pietermaritzburg which makes history happen. When I stand on this hallowed ground, I can almost feel the anger and pain of Mahatma Gandhi when he was thrown out of the first-class rail compartment 125 years ago. He sat in the waiting room, in the night, in bitter cold, in darkness, since there was no light in the room, scared and in no mood to talk. But it is at that moment that the greatness of Gandhi came to the fore. He never took the treatment meted out to him personally. He thought beyond himself. As Gandhiji says in his autobiography, and I quote, "Should I fight for my rights or go back to India? Or should I go on to Pretoria without minding the insults? The hardship to which I was subjected was superficial, only a symptom of the deep disease of color prejudice. I should try, if possible, to root out the disease and suffer hardship in the process." It was this attitude of shrugging off his personal situation, but always thinking about the larger good, that made him a Mahatma. And sitting on this very platform, through his deep introspection, which he was always fond of, Mahatma Gandhi started the journey which changed the course of human history. But the contribution of Peter Maritzburg in history did not stop here. On the 5th of August 1962, another tall leader of this country, Nelson Mandela, was arrested by the police barely 25 kilometers from Peter.